U.S. presidents who secretly hated each other. Yo, be real, bro. If y'all were president, you would have beef with your vice president after. Dude, low-key, bro, if I'm president, bro, you can't talk shit about me. You can't talk shit about me at any moment, at any time, or your ass will get kicked out. Tommy is my vice president. Overthrow Tommy. Yo, come on. Y'all hear me out. Freedom of speech? Yo, that shit died like 20 years ago, man. Impeach Tommy. Yo, come on, bro. We really impeaching me? All right, y'all. I was just trolling. Come on, y'all. Come on. I was just trolling. I would deport Elon. How about this? That's my first act. We're deporting Elon. Everybody gets 10 bans. All right, next. Everybody gets 3 free vacations a year. Wherever you want. There you go. You're welcome. Now we don't have to talk about me. Deport everyone on the list. Are we still talking about Lefty Epstein? I mean, this dude has been talked about for years. There is no list. It's fake. It's a hoax. Stop talking about it. This will not ruin my presidency. I didn't even know that guy. Release the NFG files now. Okay, let's go ahead and see this.
From name calling to backstabbing to full-blown political sabotage. These are the U.S. presidents who secretly hated each other. With feuds so personal, they literally shaped the course of American history. Cause if you thought dirty politics started in the last decade, then you haven't heard about the founding fathers, who went from freedom-fighting bros to sworn enemies in the blink of an eye. Because
it was bound to happen, bro. It was bound to happen.
John Adams and Thomas Jefferson were a part of the original Dream Team. Together, they wrote the Declaration of Independence, debated philosophy over wine in Europe, and dreamed up a future of America. Until 1796, when Adams and Jefferson both ran for president. And as you can imagine, things got ugly. Cause Adams—
Bro, imagine if they saw it now, like back then, what did they say? They're probably like, oh dear my, Jefferson is a silly wagga. I know they still kind of talk with like British accents back then, American, because like they were fucking British. Scallywags, they're probably like, in my forte, Jefferson was a great, amazing person, but due to these concepts, I feel like he's less fit. Thank you. They saw what we have now, they'd be like, holy fuck, bro. Shit, if they saw me recording this video, they'd be like, wait, how the fuck are you recording this? Get on the field. No, I'm just playing. Actually, I'm not playing. They actually would have said that.
With Jefferson coming in second, which under the Constitution at the time meant Adams became president and Jefferson became his vice president. Yeah, imagine having your big—
Y'all, between every president, there's always some type of tension. With like presidents and vice presidents, especially like towards the end. Like right now, like Trump and JD Vance, bro, I guarantee if JD Vance is gonna run to be president, bro, he's gonna have to split from Trump. This nigga's losing on basically like every fucking issue except like 1 or 2 issues, right? Like the border and shit. He's gonna have to split from him, and then they're gonna end up like beefing or talking about each other. Vance so chopped, bro. Weren't they like deporting people if they had like an image, that meme image of him?
Biggest political rival as your number 2. Tensions were sky high. By the time the 1800 rematch came around, the gloves were off. Jefferson supporters, including his hired attack dog James Callender, went for blood, calling Adams, and I quote, a hideous hermaphroditical character.
Damn! It was moving way more vicious than I thought. Hey guys, Tom NFG here. You know, only half of you guys are subscribed and even less of you guys have noties on. I hate to be a burden, but you know, I really appreciate it if you hit that sub button and the little bell next to it, you know. It doesn't take long. I know you can get mixed up in the algorithm and everything. But yeah, also tune into the streams, you know. We have a lot of fun over there, I'm telling you. We have a lot of parties going on over there. Yeah, that's it, bye. Damn. What is hermaphroditical? Hold up. They kind of had it in them. Possessing both male and female reproductive organs, structures, or tissue. Kind of a strange insult. A little bit of a strange insult to pull up. Bro called John Adams trans. It's not even— would that be trans? No, that's just intersex, right?
Which is neither the force of a man nor the gentleness of a woman.
Damn, this is what he said in a nutshell. This is the real nigga translation. Spin back, nigga. You fucking suck. You get no bitches. Fuck you. Fuck your family. Fuck your mother. Fuck your grandma. Fuck your great-grandma. Fuck all of them.
Oh, snap! But Adams' team fired back, branding Jefferson a mean-spirited, low-lived fellow. These two were—
that doesn't sound as like comp as hermaphroditical. Like I had to think of it for a second. Hermaphroditical.
Smearing each other left and right. Except this time, Jefferson won. And Adams was so upset, he snuck out of DC at 4 a.m. on Inauguration Day, becoming the first president to skip his successor's ceremony. Talk about a sore loser. But why so much hostility? Well, Adams felt betrayed by Jefferson's behind-the-scenes scheming. And Jefferson saw Adams' alien and sedition acts as authoritarian overreach. So their friendship, dead. Their working relationship, non-existent. And their rivalry, a defining moment in early American politics. Until years later, when they made peace through letters, rekindled their friendship, and even died on the same day, July 4th,
They died on July 4th? Wait, why is that low-key or?
1826, the 50th anniversary of the declaration they once signed together. So,
Yo, this just shows America is not, like, remotely close to, like, an old country, bro. They literally created a country 50 years before.
at least these two buried the hatchet before they died.
1826 too?
Unlike this next rivalry, who literally got someone killed.
Oh, wow.
Because if you thought the first Adams had drama, wait until you meet his son, John Quincy Adams, whose rivalry with Andrew Jackson was one of the nastiest feuds in American history. In 1824, there were 4 major candidates.
You look at everything he did historical, this nigga was the devil. This man was the fucking devil, bro. He used to literally just be shooting people, having duels on the White House lawn. Imagine we bring that back. Yo, he was low-key the King Von of presidents. His ass would pull up, he'd be like, oh, you got a problem? You'd have to do it out on the White House floor. At least Adams opposed slavery. Andrew Jackson was evil. Yeah.
running for president: Andrew Jackson, John Quincy Adams, William H. Crawford, and Henry Clay. But Andrew Jackson won the popular vote and electoral vote.
Oh, wow.
So he's the next president, right? Wrong. He didn't hit the majority needed to win. According to the 12th Amendment, if no candidate gets over 50% of the electoral votes, the decision goes to the House of Representatives. So Henry Clay, who was the current Speaker of the House, threw his support behind John Quincy Adams. And when the House voted, they handed the presidency to
Bro, could you imagine this happening now? Like, imagine the election, I don't know, let's say it was the same outcome like Trump won, but like it wasn't fully up to like the amount, and then it went to them and they were like, no, we don't want to pick him. He would have been like, January 6th part 2, bro. We would have been fried. I wonder if this will ever happen. Yo, if this ever happened in modern times, it's raps. It'd be January 6th all over again, no dead ass. He'd be like, try to steal the country from me. I won. It'd be even worse, because like, especially if he won, he'd be like, I won. How do I not get this?
Adams,
It'd be raps.
who turned around and made Clay his Secretary of State.
There will be
That's
riots no
kinda
matter the side.
shady if you ask me. Jackson's supporters went ballistic, screaming, corrupt.
That is a dumb law, though. Like, if you win the vote overall, who cares if it's over, what, 280 or whatever type of votes? Who fucking cares, nigga? If you win, you win.
bargain. And Jackson was convinced that Adams stole the presidency from him. So what did he do? He spent the next 4 years plotting his revenge. Because in 1828, the rematch was pure political blood sport. Adams's camp painted Jackson as a violent, illiterate thug and went after his
You called him a thug?
wife Rachel, calling her a bigamist and a
No. They were wilding back then. Yo, they're a lot more similar to how politics is nowadays than I thought. Called his wife was that a whore? A bitch? I don't know what it was.
Meanwhile, Jackson's team clapped right back, accusing Adams of being a pimp who procured prostitutes for the Russian Tsar. Yeah, this was no longer politics. It was a high society knife fight. But when Jackson finally crushed Adams in 1828, guess what Adams did next? He followed in Daddy's footsteps and refused to attend the inauguration. So Jackson?
So this happened more times than we thought, bro. Like, yeah, I can't just like fucking get the day through.
He threw open the White House doors and let a mob of supporters storm inside for a rowdy inaugural party. Probably just to spite the guy who ghosted him. But here's the tragic twist of it all. Andrew Jackson's wife Rachel died just weeks before he took office. And Jackson was devastated, blaming the vicious campaign attacks for her death. At her funeral,
How was that possible? So the words made her die?
Jackson said, "May God Almighty forgive her murderers. I never can." This wasn't just politics anymore. It was personal. And this feud literally split the Democratic-Republican Party for good, giving birth to the modern two-party system.
So you tell me right now, if these stupid niggas, if they didn't have this beef, we would have been fine and everybody would have got along? Thanks, guys. We would have been close.
But if you thought that split was bad, let's fast forward to the post-Civil War era.
These guys had to ruin it.
America was on life support, and two of its most powerful men couldn't agree on how to fix it. Because after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, VP Andrew Johnson was promoted to the top job. And unlike Lincoln, he wanted to go easy on the South, offering pardons to former Confederates and fast-tracking their return to power. But Ulysses S. Grant, the Union's most legendary general, sided with Congress and demanded a tougher Reconstruction to protect the rights of newly freed Black Americans and prevent the old Southern elite from regaining control. Johnson
Respect, W. Mans.
and Grant were supposed to be allies, but ended up in one of the most hostile presidential beefs in history. Because things got juicy when Johnson wanted to fire Secretary of War Edwin Stanton, a staunch ally of radical Republicans. The problem was, Stanton refused to leave, and Congress had passed the 10-Year of Office Act, making it illegal to remove a cabinet member without Senate approval. So, Johnson looked for a workaround and asked Grant to temporarily replace Stanton as Secretary of War. Grant reluctantly agreed, but when Congress pushed back,
Yo, isn't it crazy in government? There's like so many workarounds to do shit, bro. Let's say, I don't know, you're the president. You could like have this person do this, change this, take this old like 200-year law, put it in, do this. Fucking insane.
Grant backed
They get like cheat codes. It's like a bunch of different cheat codes and loopholes they could do.
off and gave the office back to Stanton. Andrew Johnson went nuclear and published a scathing public letter accusing Grant of breaking his word, defying the commander-in-chief, and acting with disrespect and insubordination. Translation: the president just tried to throw the most popular war hero in America under the bus.
Wow.
But Grant wasn't having it. He fired back with his own letter, calm, factual, and flat out contradicting Johnson's version of the events. He defended his integrity and made it clear he wasn't Johnson's pawn. He pulled an Adams move and skipped the inauguration
Bro, how many? Oh my god. How many of them just said, F it, I'm not even gonna come?
entirely, staying in the White House signing meaningless documents just to avoid his successor.
Holy petty.
But this wasn't just petty drama. It had real consequences. Their feud was about the soul of Reconstruction. Johnson wanted to go easy on ex-Confederates, while Grant wanted justice, protection for freedmen, and real change. And when Grant finally took office, he led the most aggressive phase of Reconstruction.
Bro, and it's so crazy too about like the South when the whole Civil War was going on, bro. Even after they abolished slavery, bro, them niggas did not listen. The government had to come in and check every single one of the slave masters and be like, yo, you're not hiding slaves or whatever, this and that. Sundown Town still exists exactly, and like people don't think of it now. Like, okay, the average black person, like even me, obviously wouldn't go into Sundown Town and shit. But like if you get murdered on the street, the person's gonna get arrested. Like they're gonna get arrested to become a big headline or whatever. But literally like those Sundown Towns like 152 years ago, 200 years ago, it was dead ass like slaves there. Do Sundown Towns still exist? They do exist, but it's not as prevalent. Like you're just gonna have racists there pretty much in Sundown Towns. A majority of the racists, not everybody, because you know people end up moving in, people end up moving out, different things, but they do like exist. And there's certain towns, bro, where like they will say also it's not recommended if you know you're black or whatever, or any type of minority to like be there. It's just a weird vibe. 11 Tennessee, I still see some Confederate flags here and there. I'm not surprised.
Using federal troops to fight.
By the way, y'all, my social media career has lasted longer than Confederacy. Let's clap it up. My social media career has lasted longer than the Confederacy. Confederacy was what, like 4 years or something. I think I started like doing TikTok in 2021. So yeah, like actually start being consistent and shit. So
KKK and enforce civil rights. So yeah, their feud didn't just make headlines, it shaped the future of a nation. But that's nothing compared to this next breakup, which was so dramatic, it could have won an Oscar. Because Theodore, Teddy Roosevelt, and William Howard Taft weren't just political allies, they were genuine friends. Teddy handpicked Taft as his successor.
I feel like in politics, you gotta know, like, people aren't gonna be your friend. You're gonna have people that backstab you, this and that. I feel like you gotta treat them more like coworkers you put at, like, a higher stand and shit. Because one moment, bro, I guess your friend could just betray you.
In 1908, believing Taft would carry
Teddy
on his
Roosevelt hated
progressive
natives and
legacy
believed
of
in
fighting monopolies,
manifest destiny.
expanding conservation, and protecting labor rights. But once in office, Taft started drifting right by siding with conservatives, firing Teddy's allies, and undoing Roosevelt's legacy. What the heck, man? Teddy understandably felt betrayed, like his best friend was stabbing the progressive movement in the back.
Bro was pulling off the political grift 100 years early.
So by 1912, Roosevelt wasn't just annoyed, he was furious. He came out of retirement to challenge his own hand-picked successor for the Republican nomination. And oh boy, did the gloves come off. Roosevelt roasted
Yo, imagine he just called him a fat, ugly fuck. You need to lose weight, bitch.
Taft publicly, calling him a puzzlewit, and said he has less brains than a guinea pig.
Damn!
He also called Taft a flub-dub with a streak of his...
He called him fat! Flub-dub. I'm gonna assume that means fat. Flub-dub, bro, they have such hilarious words. Oh, it doesn't even mean fat. A noun referencing to pretentious nonsense, shows, airs, or empty talk. Yo, I'm about to start using this, y'all. Anytime somebody's annoying me in the chat, like, I'm gonna be like, you're being a flub-dub. Stop talking like a flub-dub.
Second rate in him. Just brutal. But Taft, who's normally pretty mild-mannered, finally snapped.
Taft would have been a
and fired back,
right-wing
calling
grifter, I
Roosevelt
swear.
a honeyfuggler. Yeah,
Honeyfuggler. Dude just didn't want to say he didn't want to get in trouble.
honeyfuggler. It's old-school slang for someone who sweet-talks you while totally lying to your face. Americans had to check the dictionary to figure out what just happened. But Roosevelt was so enraged, he ditched the Republican Party entirely, starting his own third party, the Bull Moose Party, just to take down
What the hell is that? Damn, I guess it didn't go that far. I've never heard of it.
Taft. His hatred ran so deep, he was willing to hand the presidency to a Democrat. And that's exactly what happened, because Woodrow Wilson won in a landslide. But here's the wild part. Roosevelt actually beat Taft in both the popular and electoral vote. Taft only carried 2 states, an absolute humiliation for a sitting president. So Taft was devastated. Friends apparently saw him break down in tears, heartbroken that his former best friend had turned him into a national punchline. From hand
Dude, what did you expect? You changed your politics entirely and then changed yourself when you were president.
successor to bitter enemy, from hugs to honeyfunklers. This beef wasn't just legendary, it reshaped the Republican Party forever. But best friend betrayal is one thing. An outright sabotage during a national emergency? That's a whole nother
Hoover
level.
versus FDR.
Because in 1932, the Great Depression was
Finally, we're getting pictures.
crushing the country. Banks were collapsing, unemployment was skyrocketing, and bread lines were stretching around the block.
Nah, this is... Wait. Is that Speed, my nigga? Am I tripping? That looks like Speed. He's a time traveler. Now, you know how they do that for every famous person? They take an old photo from the 1900s? Wait. Ain't no way that's who I think it is. That kind of does look like him, though. That does look like Speed. I know I'm not tweaking, right, y'all? That looks like Speed without his hair. Where's your photo? I don't think I have one. If y'all find somebody from, like, the 1900s that looked like me, then let me know. Send the photo on the Reddit or something, because I'd be interested in look at that. That might be me. Who knows? Maybe I'm a time traveler, yo. Bro, maybe I escaped slavery. You know what I'm saying? I found a portal and shit. I was born in, like, 1840. Actually, that wouldn't even be possible, because my parents are Ethiopian. My lineage goes back to Ethiopia. But, you know, a hypothetical scenario.
But in the middle of it all, you got the outgoing president and the man about to take his place who absolutely despise each other. Herbert Hoover, the Republican incumbent, saw himself as a serious, principled leader trying to hold the country together. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the charismatic Democratic challenger, was promising bold new ideas, and Hoover hated every minute of it. Hoover sneered that FDR was a chameleon on plaid, meaning Roosevelt changed his position so often, even a Scottish kilt couldn't camouflage him. And FDR came back swinging, calling Hoover a fat, timid kid.
Yo, why was he actually going crazy with the insults? I don't know why. I thought they were nicer back then. It seems like something like Trump would type in a tweet or something about somebody. The fact that they were talking like this like 100 years ago is hilarious.
Capon. Translation, a capon is a castrated rooster. So
a chicken with no meat? What the fuck? Interesting insult.
FDR basically called the sitting president a fat, cowardly chicken. Yeah, the insults were a little bit different back then.
Yeah.
But the real drama came after the election, when FDR crushed Hoover in a landslide in November 1932. But back then, presidents weren't inaugurated until March, leaving a long, painful 4-month lame duck period. During those months, the banking system was teetering on collapse, so Hoover begged FDR to publicly support emergency economic measures to restore confidence. But FDR refused.
No.
He didn't want to be tied to Hoover's failed policies. And Hoover was furious, calling FDR's refusal to cooperate the coldest-blooded political act ever undertaken. Yikes. And then came Inauguration Day.
You gotta see what we got now.
1933, where the tradition is that the outgoing and incoming presidents ride to the Capitol together.
And they didn't do it. He didn't show up. Let me guess, he didn't show up.
And they did.
Oh.
In icy silence, barely speaking a word. The photo of them sitting stiffly in the car is legendary.
But it's actually so much funnier with the picture. It's actually so much funnier. Oh my god, now they hate each other. This is like when you're forced to like take your sibling out. Like when you try to go out with your friends. Your mom's like, yo, bring your little brother or bring your little sister.
And painfully awkward.
He was not loving it.
But the worst part, modern historians believe this beef may have actually worsened the banking panic, since no unified action was taken in those final weeks. This wasn't just a political rivalry. It was a full-blown standoff, with the American economy caught in the middle.
Bro, it's like so crazy too. Like all of these powerful politicians will literally just hate each other so much. And it will be to the point where it's just like the people are suffering, but they hate each other so fucking much. Like to them, it doesn't matter. It's like their beef overstates like millions of people. And then eventually after like months, they'll probably be forced to do something.
Man, I wish my presidents would just
Your beef is
get
now more
along.
important than your country? Dead
Like
ass.
Harry Truman and Dwight D. Eisenhower. Cause during World War II, Truman admired General Eisenhower so much, he offered to launch his political career. He saw Ike as a war hero with integrity, the kind of leader America could rally behind. But fast forward to 1952, and these two couldn't even fake a smile for the cameras.
Oh, wow.
Because Harry Truman became furious when Eisenhower failed to defend General George Marshall from Senator Joseph McCarthy's communist conspiracy attacks. Here's the tea. George Marshall wasn't just any general. He was a towering figure in U.S. history. Chief of Staff during World War II, architect of the Marshall Plan, and Nobel Peace Prize winner. And most importantly, one of Truman's most trusted
Wait, he won a Nobel Peace Prize, but the U.S. dropped a bomb on Japan, my nigga. Yo, they was just giving it to anybody, bro. Isn't a Nobel Peace Prize supposed to be like, oh yeah, we solve things worldwide with peace and things calm down? You're like, bro, what? He was part of the president that dropped a bomb on or not bomb, nuke. My bad, I'm saying bomb, nuke.
advisors. A man Truman
Tommy
once
needs a Peace Prize? Not for real. Yeah, do I deserve one?
called the greatest American of the 20th century. But in the early 1950s, Senator Joseph McCarthy was riding a wave of Red Scare paranoia, accusing government officials of harboring communists, and Marshall became one of his targets. And this is where Eisenhower enters the picture. While campaigning in Wisconsin, Ike planned to publicly defend Marshall in his speech and stand up for a fellow general. But behind the scenes, advisors pressured Ike to cut the remarks, afraid it would alienate conservative voters who supported McCarthy. So Eisenhower kept quiet. And to Truman, this wasn't politics, it was cowardice. He unleashed a wave of public attacks on Eisenhower during the night.
That's kind of an L though. I mean, was bro actually like a communist or some shit or what they were saying? Bro, he was scared because he was like, nah, what? People aren't gonna like me. They're not gonna vote for me anymore. That's the fucked up thing about politics too. He wasn't. So we just got accused just because and then he got fucked over. That's messed up, bro. Like I couldn't imagine I'm with like my mans or something. He's being falsely accused and I know and I'm like, ah, nah, it's just people are gonna stop watching me for now or something because I'm saying this because I don't know my viewers. Like, no, bro. And that's the sad thing about politics. That happens all the time today, all the time. Like people want to speak up, bro, but they get scared about voters and different shit and whatnot.
1952 campaign, accusing him of a
Like, yo, I'm telling you right now, bro, just like with modern politics, bro, a lot of these Republicans, bro, they definitely disagree with shit Trump does. But y'all think they're gonna say anything? Let's be real, bro. No, they're not gonna say anything.
abandoning principle for votes. And Eisenhower, who was brand new to politics, took the criticism personally, causing their relationship to completely unravel. By Inauguration Day 1953, the bad blood was obvious. But Truman extended an olive branch by inviting Eisenhower to a pre-inauguration coffee at the White House. But Eisenhower declined. So Truman was fed up. Later,
Nah, he didn't drink the coffee. If only it was modern times and he got some matcha coffee. Some matcha Dubai, chocolate boo-boo. You would have liked that.
writing that Eisenhower didn't know any more about politics than a pig knows about Sunday.
Oh, wow.
However, this grudge wasn't just awkward, it was dangerous. Because the transition happened in the middle of the Korean War, and their lack of coordination delayed critical policy briefings and handoffs. Now, years later, the two eventually softened toward each other, but during that handoff, you could cut the tension with a knife. But Harry Truman didn't just clash with Eisenhower. He absolutely despised Richard Nixon with a fire of 1,000 suns.
Yeah, we reach a more
calling
modern
Nixon,
times.
and I quote, a no-good lying bastard.
Damn, he threw a curse word. See, back then, bastard was a curse word, I think.
Can lie out both sides of his mouth at the same time. And if he ever caught himself telling the truth, he'd lie just to keep his hand in. That's like gotta be the most
True. I'm not sure how was Richard Nixon as a president. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know like a lot. I know he had the scandal. We all know about like the big scandal that happened, Watergate. It's really all I know.
It's line by a
Not
U.S.
educated enough.
president, especially since Truman had been out of office for over 20 years. He was criticizing Nixon from his recliner.
He did some good.
Talk about a
scandal was very
backseat
bad.
president.
Okay.
And Truman didn't stop there. He once said that anyone who voted for Nixon ought to go to hell. So what sparked this level of hatred? Well, Truman saw Nixon.
See, now we're reaching the points where it's like politics nowadays. Because nowadays, bro, that's what they be like. They'd be like, if you ever vote for a liberal or whatever, this and that, it's over for you. You're going to hell, you're demonic. It's like, you ever vote for a Republican conservative, you're this and that. It's like kind of reaching the points like how it is now with politics.
As the embodiment of everything wrong with politics. A ruthless opportunist who rose to power by smearing his opponents as communist sympathizers during the height of the Red Scare. And once upon a time, Nixon attacked Truman's administration for being soft on communism and losing China to Mao's revolution. But unlike other feuds that mellowed with age, Truman's hate for Nixon never cooled off. Even as an old man in Missouri, Truman continued to take shots at him. And when the Watergate scandal finally ruined Nixon's presidency, Truman was quietly...
I'm not gonna lie, nowadays, I don't think that would actually do anything. Dude, politics is so nowadays. I think if that same scandal happened now, people would have just moved on. Maybe not fully move on, but like compared to the shit we got now, bro, like, come on. It's not even close. Things have changed so much.
satisfied, like he'd seen it coming all along. But you know what nobody saw coming? The time a vice president secretly plotted his boss's political extinction. Because behind the smiles of the Kennedy-Johnson White House, there was deep, simmering resentment. Back in 1960, when John F. Kennedy tapped Lyndon B. Johnson as his running mate, it wasn't out of friendship, it was strategy. JFK needed a Southern power broker to help him win votes. But once in office, the two barely tolerated each other. Johnson came from the rough and tumble world of Texas politics, and he never fit in with the sleek Ivy League image of Kennedy's inner circle. Especially Bobby Kennedy, JFK's brother and attorney general. LBJ privately fumed over how the Kennedys treated him, as if he were a crass backroom dealmaker in a room full of blue bloods. He even once referred to Bobby as a snot-nosed little son of a
No, why was they going so crazy, bro? Was it that deep, man? What happened to calling people flub dubs? I'm telling you, it's just a build-up. It started off with this preposterous flub dub to this. It was bound to reach this, and now we got what it is now, and it's gonna be way worse. Y'all think politics is bad now, and everybody just like yelling at each other? Imagine like 10 years and 20 years.
And he meant it. After
GG's.
JFK's assassination, Johnson didn't just take the reins. He made sure that kind of dynasty couldn't happen again. In 1967, he pushed through an anti-nepotism law, ensuring no future president could appoint family members to top government posts. A direct...
Am I tripping or Trump did that? This law did not fucking work. Isn't that literally what Trump did? Like his daughter and son and some shit were like working for him.
shot at the Kennedy family. Johnson often joked that being VP under JFK was like being a raven hovering over his shoulder, present but powerless. He felt like JFK kept him on the sideline the whole time. So once he became president...
When you're vice president, though, you're kind of like, you're that side character. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Being vice president, like, is there any ups to it? Other than, I guess, one day you may be president if you win. You're actually the side character.
LBJ returned the favor to Kennedy loyalists and pushed them to the side. He even sneered that JFK was riding Caroline's tricycle on Capitol Hill when it came to legislation. Which was Johnson's way of saying, while Kennedy looked pretty, I'm the one who actually knows how to use power. At its core, this was more than a personal beef. It was a culture war. Texas grit versus Harvard polish. But I know what you're thinking. Was Johnson's resentment just political or something more sinister? Was he connected to JFK's assassination? Well, on the day of the assassination, Johnson was in the motorcade just 2 cars behind Kennedy.
Yo, did he plan this shit out? Is that a theory people say? I don't know. I've never heard of that theory. But wait, that's the vice president. Why would the vice president not be riding with the president? They're supposed to be like next to each other. Bro wanted to see him get slimed down in person. I think it was planned. Well, I mean, it's like 100% confirmed nowadays. The CIA and FBI had something to do with it, right? Anyways, so.
And there were claims of suspicious behavior. Like he reportedly ducked before the shots were fired.
Wait, don't we have footage of like the full drive? There is no way. Major fumble. Major fucking fumble.
But after decades of declassified files, biographies, and official investigations, there's no credible evidence linking Johnson to the assassination. That's it, boys. Just keep redacting those files.
I was about to say, yeah, the CIA finished their conclusion. All right, we believe it.
Oh, hey, what are you guys doing here? But I can tell you that LBJ didn't just have beef with the Kennedys. He had beef with Nixon, too. Johnson's hatred for Nixon went even deeper than his issues with the Kennedys. He literally accused Nixon of treason. In 1968, Johnson was desperately trying to negotiate peace in Vietnam before leaving office. But behind his back, Nixon's campaign was secretly sabotaging the talks. Nixon's people
That's kind of crazy work.
were telling South Vietnamese leaders to stall negotiations, promising they'd get a better deal once Nixon won the election. When LBJ found out, he went ballistic, calling it, in his own words, treason, and said Nixon had blood on his hands.
I mean, that is, bro, what? Like, you're not even president, you're telling another country, oh yeah, if I win, I got y'all. Like, you know, we're gonna solve it. That is literally treason.
But he really wasn't exaggerating. FBI wiretaps and NSA intelligence later confirmed exactly what Johnson suspected. Nixon's team had actively interfered with the peace process. But here's another twist. Johnson didn't go public. Why? Well, because exposing Nixon's betrayal would also mean admitting that the FBI was secretly surveilling him. A political firestorm Johnson wasn't willing
Damn, so it was a stalemate. I would have revealed it, I'm gonna be honest.
to ignite. So privately, he fumed that Nixon had betrayed his country to win an election. And historians believe Nixon's sabotage prolonged the Vietnam War by years, costing tens of thousands of additional lives.
Bro, it's crazy. These were just like some kids in high school. They asked how to go in the trenches, bro. Dude, you're probably no older than 18. They're like, all right, you're 18. It's time to enter the war that the U.S. shouldn't even have been in. Or like, it shouldn't have been in as long. Regardless, it was like 15, 20 years or some shit. They were mostly boomers, by the way. Not all of them, because a lot of the boomers ended up just not going or dodging it. A lot of them, but yeah.
All in the name of political gain.
Damn, it's kind of aura.
Which is just crazy. And by the time Nixon won, the transition between the two men was ice cold. Nixon visited LBJ's Texas ranch, and they barely looked each other in the eye. No warmth, no reconciliation. Just 2 powerful men burning with mutual resentment.
They should just fought right there.
Shaking
like fist
hands
fight.
for the cameras. But not all presidential feuds are fiery. Some are quiet, cold, and pretty one-sided. Because in 1980, Jimmy Carter had just suffered a brutal re-election loss to Ronald Reagan, and the country was in the toilet bowl, suffering from inflation, gas shortages, and the Iran hostage crisis. So when it came time to hand over the keys, he wasn't exactly in the mood for small talk. And Reagan didn't help either. During one high-level transition meeting, Reagan reportedly kicked back, didn't take a single note, and barely engaged. A stark contrast to Carter's famously detail-obsessed style. Carter, already frustrated, snapped at Reagan mid-briefing for not paying attention.
Bro, he was low-key rage baiting him.
But the real drama came from Nancy Reagan, who weeks before Inauguration Day asked if they could move into the White House guest residence early, just to start redecorating.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna lie. This would have been me. You can move in when it's your time to move in. But when it's my time, you're not allowed! That would have been me. I'll be damned, bro. They were like, oh yeah, can we move in? Can we just start working? No. Do you ask your Airbnb owner, can you move in early to set up your stuff like a day before?
And the Carters were flabbergasted. Excuse
And
me.
then afterwards, trickle economies, which still affects the country negatively to this day. Dude, they literally cut the tax rate at this time from like 70% to like fucking like what, like 30%. It's like such a difference, bro. And then all the boomers are like, man, just work hard. Bro, niggas was getting taxed 70%. If people were getting taxed 70% now, mainly the super rich people, everybody in Gen Z will probably have a house.
Me, what? They found the request so presumptuous, they flat out denied it, forcing the Reagans to wait like everyone else. And just when Carter thought it couldn't sting anymore, the Iranian hostages were released literally minutes after Reagan was sworn in.
Oh, wow.
Carter had spent 444 days trying to resolve the crisis, and the breakthrough came as he was leaving office. Talk about a final gut
Nah, I would have been mad. They were rage baiting too.
punch.
Releasing
Ronald
it.
Reagan was like the homecoming king who made everything look easy, and Jimmy Carter was the overachiever quietly seething in the corner. So this wasn't a beef of insults or sabotage, just two different personalities passing by on their way in and out the door. Sorry, sir, I'm with this guy now. But that's nothing compared to the grudge between Barack Obama and Donald Trump, a feud so nasty that it did.
What president does Trump like? Modern president. Not Biden, not Obama, not George Bush, not Bill Clinton, and then that's it. Nobody else is alive. There's nobody.
Didn't even start in politics. It started in the tabloids. Because years before Trump ran for office, he was the loudest voice behind the
Like
birth
Jackson, dead ass.
or conspiracy.
That says a lot now that I think of it. Let me search it up. President Trump may think he's President Jackson reincarnated, but there are less. Wait, what, nigga? Wait, did he actually say this? Is he about to start dueling people on the White House lawn?
Claiming that Obama wasn't born in the U.S. And even
That is such crazy work, bro. This was such crazy work. How the f would a president be the president of the United States if they weren't born here? That is literally impossible. I don't even think a lot of people know about this shit. I only found out about this probably like a couple years ago.
after Obama released his birth certificate,
Trump
Trump
dick eating?
kept stoking the fire, insinuating it was fake and raising doubts on talk shows and Twitter. So when Obama stepped up to the mic at the 2011 White House
remember
Correspondents'
this.
Dinner, he saw an opportunity to strike back and absolutely roasted Trump in front of the entire Washington elite, mocking his reality show and playing a fake birth video straight from The Lion King.
Nah, that actually happened? Wait, where's the clip at? Wait, why is this low-key accurate? Hold on, wait, what the fuck? This looks like the Oval Office, I'm not gonna lie. What is American politics even about, bro?
Trump sat there stone-faced, almost as if to say, I'll get my revenge one day. And some
Nah, he did get his revenge though, bro. Low-key, if that didn't happen, we probably wouldn't have been in this situation. Imagine your ass getting roasted by the president in front of like every single one of your like high-level friends. I probably would have ran too, just in spite.
even believe it was the moment Trump decided to run for president. Fast forward to
I
2016.
probably would have done the same thing.
Trump wins, and it's payback time. Because he made it his mission to dismantle Obama's legacy piece by piece by repealing parts of the Affordable Care Act, withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal, and ditching the Paris Climate Accords. But the insults didn't stop either. Trump accused Obama of spying on his
Do y'all think this was revenge or he truly just thought these things weren't good? Definitely more of revenge. May have thought some of the things weren't good. I think it's more of revenge though. Yeah, like 70% revenge and then like 30% I don't like it.
2016 campaign, and regularly blamed him for America's problems, even years into his own presidency. Eventually,
And then now they're like blaming Biden, bro. Like, nigga, it's almost been a year. Basically in like what, like 5 months, bro. It's been a year. How long is we about to be blaming Biden, dog? Look, Biden had his fuck-ups, bro. I'm no huge fan of Biden. But my nigga, you gotta eventually start blaming yourself, bro. In January 2026. Like, yo, I seen some, like, oh my God, it was the dumbest tweet I ever seen, bro, on Twitter. Dude, it's literally gonna be 3 years down the line he's gonna be blaming Biden. I promise you. But it was somebody basically blaming, like, the Cracker Barrel change. I know they changed their logo. That became a whole thing. It was like some politician. And they put a picture of, like, Biden or some shit, and they were like, oh, it's Biden's fault. What does Biden have to do with the Cracker Barrel logo change? Yo, these niggas is actually sped. The thing I hate most is like lying politicians, which all of them lie, obviously, but like to the point where you're clearly lying and everybody can tell you're lying. That's why niggas didn't fuck with Biden, bro, because all of them was saying, oh yeah, Biden's not old. And then because of that, bro, there's probably niggas that voted for Trump that didn't even like him, bro, just because they were lying. I have a friend who was a huge Trump. It's basically just a cult. Like I said, I don't really care who you vote for. I don't care, bro. It's one thing voting for somebody. If you can't call out bullshit from like both sides or call your candidate, bro, that's when I call you expect. These are literally the people I mainly criticize always. Like, okay, you voted, whatever, he's not doing good. If you're really just dick riding, you can't call out things, then your ass is cooked.
Obama broke the stay silent if you're a former president tradition and fired back, calling Trump's COVID response a chaotic disaster, joking that Trump was jealous of the virus's press coverage, and quipping that
yo, that's kind of creative.
if Trump refused to leave office, we might have to send in the Navy SEALs. But perhaps the most symbolic jab was when Trump refused to invite Obama to the traditional White House portrait unveiling, breaking decades of presidential decorum. 'Cause this wasn't just a feud. This created a great national divide where each side saw each other's leaders as illegitimate, dangerous, even un-American. But the rivalry didn't stop there. Because in 2020, it turned into a full-blown constitutional crisis when Donald Trump ran for re-election against Joe Biden, branding him as Sleepy Joe and accusing his son Hunter of corruption. And Biden fired back.
Yo, Biden was definitely motherfucking sleepy, but dude, have y'all seen Trump nowadays, bro? Give it like 2 or 3 years, bro, he's gonna be the same way. Not sleeping, but like, he'll literally just say some shit and it doesn't make any sense. Like, he'll say something, bro. I don't know how he puts these words together. There was like a clip. This was recently, right? And then he was like, they want everybody transgender. Nigga just saying buzzwords, bro. It was the most funny shit I've ever seen. I'm like, there's no way this is real. Not even like, those people want everybody to be transgender individuals or some shit. I don't think I've ever seen a person that's just liberal or democratic be like, oh yeah, we want everybody transgender. Like, I couldn't believe it was real. Biden made me trans, bro. Hey man, listen, bro. Trump's gonna fix it because everybody is transgender now.
Calling Trump the worst president we ever had, and publicly questioning his fitness for office. But when Biden won by over 7 million votes, hit the fan because Trump refused to accept the results, claiming election fraud.
Yeah, and then to this day, he still doesn't accept it too, right?
Filing dozens of lawsuits and stirring up what would infamously be known as January 6th, a breaching of the U.S. Capitol by Trump's most loyal supporters. And then came Inauguration Day, where for the first time in 152 years, the outgoing president refused to attend his successor's swearing in. We haven't seen this since—
Bro, they used to be doing this so much. Like in the beginning of the video, we saw damn near every one of the presidents was doing it, but I guess they switched up after a
Andrew
while.
Johnson skipped Grant's ceremony in 1869. Instead,
Trump was
Trump
just
boarded
mad
Air
Sleepy
Force
Joe beat
One
him.
and flew to Florida that morning, skipping the peaceful transfer of power entirely. Because unlike most presidential beefs in history, this one didn't end at the ballot box. Trump continued questioning Biden's legitimacy and affirming the election was stolen for years after. And in return, Biden called Trump's movement a threat to democracy itself. But in the end, this back and forth went far beyond insults, because the delayed transition affected everyone's ability to coordinate on the COVID-19 response.
Right.
Can I take this map
This was the worst time though, dude. And I was like, what? Probably like 17 when this was going on.
off now? But hold on. If you thought Barack and Joe were BFFs, well, think again. Because behind closed doors, this duo had some—
Obama versus Biden. Damn. What was going on here, man? COVID overrated? Dude, COVID changed everything. We became a lot more hateful. People became a lot more depressed, different things. If COVID didn't happen, we'd probably be like closer to like all being together as a civilization. But we got set back a couple decades because of it.
some serious tension. When Biden
Let's see.
considered a 2020 run, Obama straight up warned him, "You don't have to do this, Joe. You really don't."
Oh.
Translation, please don't embarrass us.
So you don't have to do this. It's like you begging, I don't know, your ex or something before they leave. Like, you don't have to do this, please.
And once the
Obama
campaign
hating?
kicked off, Obama kept his distance, allegedly telling one Democrat—
Yeah, if you think of it, you never really saw them together. Like, even in Biden's presidency, you don't really see them together.
"Don't underestimate Joe's ability to—"
Yo, he really said this? Damn, he was on demon timing.
things up. Yikes. Fast forward to Biden's re-election bid in 2024, and Obama was again underwhelmed. He didn't endorse Biden until after he'd beaten every other Democrat in the race. Meanwhile, Biden's camp was
In 2024, wait, no, Biden dropped out.
fuming. Like, where's the loyalty? But Obama kept it blunt, because years later, it was revealed that he told Biden, "Your campaign is a mess."
Damn.
With friends like these,
I mean, shit, he wasn't wrong, bro. Yo, deadass, Biden dropped out already the year before and let the Democrats have a competition. This nigga Trump probably wouldn't have been president, in truth. If you want to get somebody that, like, really could dismantle things he was saying and whatnot, like, false things he would be saying, it would have been GG's, bro. He was like, all right, I'm gonna drop out 3 months before and have Kamala Harris running a campaign with Megan Thee Stallion twerking and Cardi B speaking. Bro, he should have just told him, like, don't do it. He should have just told him that.
who needs enemies? And
Like,
there
don't
you
run.
have it. U.S. presidents who secretly hated each other. And if you thought that was wild, wait until you see the things they actually banned from the White House. From broccoli to drones
Drones make sense.
to women wearing pants.
Oh. Hope that's not a rule still. Yeah, let me know what y'all think of that video, man. And yeah, if you're watching on the 2, make sure to join the Discord and watch streams.
Subscribe to Tommy and FG.